In this video, we're going to start a conversation about inputting data into mobile devices. Now, this is a pretty involved conversation, so we've broken it down into two sections. So the first section is about inputting into text and number fields, things like that, interacting on screen. The second section is about container interaction, which is pretty interesting with mobile devices. So starting off with text and number fields, etc., there are a number of considerations with mobile devices. Now, previously, this course was just about Go. Of course, now we're trying to address WebDirect as well. So with the next two sections, I've been working on creating a chart to show you what the capabilities are between FileMaker Pro, FileMaker Go, and WebDirect. And up until this point, we haven't been really looking at these charts because really these charts are one of the last things I created as I was doing this course. I was kind of feeling stressed and overwhelmed by all the moving pieces with all the features because they're really different from client to client. So whenever I try to keep everything in my head and it starts to stress me out, I sit down and I start making notes. And so what I came up with was two pretty elaborate graphics. This is the more simple one here. In the next section on containers, it's even much more crazy. So as I take a look at the content on the chart here, you'll notice at the top, we have FileMaker Pro running on Mac and Windows. Then we have FileMaker Go, which is iPhone and iPad. And then something popped up that I really wasn't expecting too much. And that is that WebDirect is really two different clients. Now, Claris doesn't call it two different clients. Everywhere in the paperwork, they call it one client. That's why it's subtle. And that's also what was starting to stress me out because I had these kind of like all these exceptions. And what it is that there are a ton of exceptions between running WebDirect on a full desktop computer or a laptop as opposed to a mobile browser that's running on an Android device or on a Chromebook or maybe on a Microsoft Surface or something. And so the idea is that when you're dealing with a mobile browser, there's even different sets of supported features. And so it's like 5 different clients in the FileMaker platform. And so this chart begins to show that. So you can see right here, the green check means that that feature is natively supported in the FileMaker platform without any extra third-party add-ons, etc. And a red X obviously means that it's not natively supported in FileMaker. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that it's not natively part of the FileMaker platform. So you need like some sort of third-party add-on to solve the problem, if it's solvable at all. And of course, that's on a case-by-case basis. Why does this matter? Every time you see a red X, that represents a potential danger spot as you have conversations with your customers or with your own team as you build a FileMaker custom application. If you tell a customer, well, no, I can't do that, no, I can't do that, and you start throwing out these no's, all these red X's, you're likely to get fired from the project or maybe you lose your job, etc. We also have these other little black indicators here. This means that there is some support but not maybe full support. And so you kind of need to read the information on that. So in this section of videos, we're talking about doing data entry or inputting data somehow outside the world of containers. And so in terms of touchscreen support, there is no real touchscreen support on the Macintosh platform. Now, Windows does support some touchscreens because there's a bunch of Dells and HPs and things like that that have touchscreen models, laptops, etc. So the Windows operating system does support that to a limited degree, but there's no specific FileMaker support for it. So you get this kind of like it's mostly supported. And if you try out FileMaker Pro on a touchscreen, you'll find that some things work pretty great, like clicking into a field or hitting a button to activate a script. Swiping doesn't work so reliably. It's kind of sketchy. So once again, you need to try it out before you start promising it to your customers. Very important. Of course, the iOS operating system is based completely on these mobile devices, so there's full support there. Then, of course, if you're doing WebDirect, if you're on a desktop computer, you have a mouse, it's really not an issue. But an on-screen keyboard, for example, on an Android device, well, the operating system facilitates that. You're in a browser environment, right, in WebDirect. So the operating system will pop up a keyboard when the browser decides it has to edit a field. And so that's really an operating system function. It's not a WebDirect function, if that makes sense, right? Understand that if you want a custom keyboard, in most cases, you're going to have to roll your own keyboard on screen of some type. The only operating system where you have a natively supported keyboard, like a numeric keyboard or a text keyboard, that's really the iOS operating system. We talk a little bit about that in a video. Just understand that there's limited support everywhere else. On-screen swipe and tap triggers, right? So you have the ability to swipe or tap with your fingers on screen. The triggers that are part of the FileMaker platform only work on the iOS. That's definitely not supported anywhere else. And I really don't know that there's a workaround for that. Some of these red X's, there's a workaround, and I will mention that to you. Obviously, styling text Varies a little bit from platform to platform. Most of the times when you style text, that's an operating system function. And so interestingly enough, FileMaker Go has the least support of styling of any of the clients. WebDirect, because the browsers tend to support most of the styling that you see there. Pretty interesting. So you'll see that in a video as well as our FileMaker Go and WebDirect training tool, which I have popped up right here on my iPad. So in this section of videos, we're really going to be focusing on the text editing and value list section right there. Now, before I leave, the one thing that's a bit strange here is you think about barcode scanning. Now, how is that not a function of a container? Well, really, if you think about it, you can interact with the camera, but the net result of what you want out of a barcode is a string of text, right, for the most part. And so while you can scan a barcode and put the image of the barcode into a container, really at the end of the day, we're running a script step in FileMaker Go that allows us to capture the barcode with the camera. It removes the text out of the barcode and it will stick that data into a text field. So that belongs actually in this section. And with FileMaker Go, it works pretty well. And we'll get to that in this section of videos.